Hey kids, this is lesson 7.5 using properties of angles. We are going to skip 7.4. We're going to come back to it. Our goal for today is that you will be able to find missing angle measures. Okay, so this is a typical problem. This is a basic problem. We have over here a right angle. We know this is a right angle because this makes a 90-degree angle. And we can see a right angle by this little box over here. So this right angle is split up into two angles. We see this line in the middle separates this right angle into two. Now a right angle has a measure of 90 degrees, so it's a total of 90 degrees. And because one of them is 60 degrees, we know the other plus a 60 has to equal to 90. So we have x plus 60 is equal to 90, and this is similar to our complementary angle problem. We subtract 60 on both sides, and we get x is equal to 30. So our missing angle measure here would be 30 degrees. Simple. Let's move on to our next question. Right here, we don't have a right angle anymore, but we notice we have a straight angle. Now remember, a straight angle has how many degrees? That's right, it has a it has 180 degrees. Straight angle, 180 degrees. Now the straight angle is broken up into two smaller angles, and you can see with this line over here. So 180 degrees split up. Let me remove those highlights. 180 is split up into two angles, one of which is 56, the other which is x. So these two have to add up to the straight angle, which is 180. So we have x plus 56 is equal to 180. And we subtract 56 on both sides. Subtract 56. And we get x is equal to 124 degrees. So this angle over here would be 124 degrees. Very simple. Let's move on. This is a little bit of review with our triangle problem. The interior angles, the inside angles of a triangle, has a total of 180 degrees. So this angle, and this angle all add up to 180 degrees. So we write 56 plus this angle here, a right angle which is 90 degrees, plus an unknown angle, we don't know this one, so let's have that as x, is equal to 180. I'm going to put an x here. So in order to solve this problem, we have to use the 56 and the 90. 56 plus 90 is 146. We still have the x is equal to 180. This is our equation. We have to get the x alone, so we subtract 146 on both sides. And this cancels out. We get x is equal to 34. So this angle over here will be 34 degrees. Let's move on. Sometimes problems are a little bit more complicated. So this problem asks you to find the measures of angles 1, 2, and 3. So angles 1, which would be this part, angle 2, this part, and angle 3, which is this part. So the best way to approach this problem is work at this slowly. Let's do this part step by step. Let's start with angle 1. So I'm going to go ahead and cover everything else. And let's look at the information that we have, the 68 degrees. How do we find this angle 1? Well, if you notice, let's go back to the previous page. I'm going to bring this forward. This part looks a lot like this problem we had earlier. This is a straight angle. A straight angle has 180 degrees. This part is also 180 degrees. So we know that the 68 plus this angle over here that we don't know is 180. We can set this up with this equation. 68 plus something we don't know is 180 because it is a straight angle. subtract 68 on both sides to get the x by itself. And we get, if this cancels out, we get x is equal to 112. So this would be 112 degrees. Now that's only for angle 1. How about angles 2 and 3? Well, let's remove my little green box that we used earlier. Angle 2. How would we find angle 2? Well, there are a couple ways of doing it. One, we can use this number that we just found over here, this angle measure. We notice that this is a straight angle. So if we split up this straight angle into two, this part and this part, this plus this would have to equal to 180. And we could do the same thing. But I'm going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to use vertical angles here. And if you remember, vertical angles are angles that are created by intersecting lines. So if we have two lines that are crossing each other, this angle and this angle, the opposite angles, are congruent, which means that they are the same. So we have vertical angles because we have intersecting lines. So that means this opposite angle here, this angle over here, would be the same measure as this angle over here. And because we know this is 68, this angle has to be 68 degrees as well. So angle 2 would be 68 degrees. We also notice that angle 3, let me change color. Angle 3, this part, is also a vertical angle when you're comparing it with angle 1. These two would be vertical angles, so they have they have the same measure as well. So if measure angle 1 is 112 degrees, measure of angle 3 would also be 112. So let's put that here. Simple. Angle 1 would be 112 degrees. Angle 2 would be 68 degrees. Angle 3 would be 112 degrees as well. This is a problem that we will be working on in class, so feel free to try this right now. I'm not going to go over it right now, but try it if you want. Here are 3 questions, 1, 2, and 3, for you to answer in Edmodo. Number 1, what is the value of x? So what is this measure? Number 2, what is the measure of angle HGF? HGF would be HGF, this angle over here. And number 3, what is the measure of angle HFG? HFG, this angle over here. Alright kids, I will see you tomorrow.